I want to talk to you today about filling your classrooms. This is such an important part of making sure that we can meet our financial demands. And without it, your staff are going to suffer. Your children are going to go without. So revenue is such a critical part of our business. It definitely is. Many of us, many of you, would rather go into the infant room and rock a baby than sit and look at a budget or be calling people off the wait list. Rather go in there, maybe help make some Play-Doh in the kitchen to get a break from the craziness of the admin. Revenue is critical. So let's talk about some revenue strategies, some filling classroom strategies. I call this stacking chairs. Let's go. All right, the first thing I want to discuss about is the idea of filling a classroom and your tuition policy. So think about filling your classroom like filling an airplane. If you were going to travel from Denver, Colorado to Seattle, Washington, or rather book a plane that you were in charge of, wouldn't you want to fill it? Because most of your expenses are going to be fixed. Your personnel are fixed. The ground crew is fixed. The maintenance on that vehicle. There's some variables like snacks and fuel, but the reality is you've got a lot of fixed expenses, much like a large childcare center. So we are tuition based, meaning if someone wants to book a flight on my airplane, I'm going to charge them whether they show up or not. If someone's going to book a day or a week in our child care center, I'm going to charge them whether they show up or not. It's critical for us. That's a tuition policy that works great for us in order to meet our financial needs and for us to find and experience revenue and profit so that we can grow our business and provide more for our children and for our community. Let's do a scenario. Let's say you have 24 chairs in a classroom and your daily rate, let's say, is $32 a day. 250 days that you're open a year, let's say, that's $192,000 per year. How would you like to double that? Or even plus 50%? If that's interesting, keep paying attention here. All right, there we go. There's our double figure, which is 384. Bizarre, right? I'm not going to go over ratio. I'm not going over my room capacity. What are you talking about, Kirk? You're not going to do any of that. Pay attention. Here we go. All right, let's say we've got 24 seats. At 75%, you'd be at 144,000. That's maybe what you realize. At 120%, though, we could be at $230,000. Wouldn't it be nice to just realize 100%, let alone 120%? All right, so here's your classroom. You've got 24 kids available in there. Let's say this is your older classroom. We might call this our pre-kindergarten classroom, where we have kids that are 5 years old, as well as those that have gone to kindergarten. They're 5 and 6. We have first through third grade. Let's say you have opportunities in there to have kids before school at a preschool spot. If you have kids that come before school and you charge $10, and then you have a child that's there full day from 9 to 6, that's 2 children sitting in the same seat. That's $42 for that chair, times 24 seats is $1,008. If you have a before school ager at 10, now we're going to add a morning preschool spot. From 8:45 to 11:45, we're going to charge that family $20. Remember, this is a family that doesn't need childcare. They just want a great preschool opportunity. People say, "Oh, I don't want to do part-time because I don't want to sell a part-time seat to where I can have a full-time kid." Well, pay attention. Because in this situation, we're talking about one chair that a school ager sits in the morning. They go to school. A preschooler comes in at 8:45 to 11:45 and leaves. Now you're going to pick up a half-day kindergartner, or maybe this is a half-day district preschool child, and they're going to show up at 11:45. You're going to feed them lunch. They're going to be a part of your afternoon pre-kindergarten or kindergarten enrichment program. Let's say a part day rate is $24. They leave at 4 o'clock. Now, why do they leave at 4? Well, because they have a sibling in second grade and mom picks them up from school and picks up little Johnny at 4 o'clock as well. And then you have a school ager that comes back from 4 to 6 o'clock. Add up those rates for those 4 different children, all using the same chair in one day in one classroom. 10 plus 20 plus 24 plus 10 is $64. Times 24 seats is $1,536. I hope I have your attention, because one option is for that full-time philosophy. I'm going to share this with you. Some of the worst advice I ever received was like day one. 16 years ago, I was told, don't do full part-time. Just do full-time and just do 5 days a week. Anything more is a hassle. Well, I've made a pretty good living off of a hassle, if you will, because I've implemented a different strategy. Again, I reference that as stacking chairs. So again, back to $32 for a full-time child. Requires minimal tracking. Put his name down on Monday or Monday through Friday and you're done, right? However, micromanaging that older classroom with before, preschool, part day kindergarten, after school, you can see double revenue. Let's talk about facilitating this. Here's one way you can do this. And again, controversy. I'm all about controversy. It's called thinking outside of the box. All right, let's say you have two classrooms. You have a preschool classroom licensed for 20 and a older classroom, that's your pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, and school-age kiddos licensed for 24. In the morning, 6:30 to 8:45, let's say you're full. You've got 10 kindergartners and 14 school-agers. They all come and show up and start their day in their school-age classroom. And they're going to end their day there as well. Your preschoolers, you're licensed for 20, but they don't all show up in the morning, do they? No, they never do. But you can track this, and you can take a look at our video on a basic classroom roster, or really an advanced classroom roster. We have it in Microsoft Excel, and we have it as well in Google Sheets. So you can take a look at one of our videos for that. You can find those templates in the treasure box. Those are free to you. 12 out of 20 of your preschoolers are going to show up in the morning, and 8 pre-kindergartner who are going to start in the preschool classroom. So in this way, I'm not mixing my older 4s or 5s, these are my pre-kindergartners, with my school-agers. I have a separate school-age program in the morning because my pre-K start in preschool. At 8:45 or 8:35, really, I'm going to take my school-agers to school. When I do that, and in this case, I took all but 4 kindergartners to school because these 4 kindergartners, let's say they go to PM kindergarten. My pre-kindergartners are going to move over into their main classroom, into their pre-K kindergarten classroom. This allows for the rest of my 8 preschoolers to show up. Now I'm running at capacity with 20 preschoolers, 20 pre-kindergartners, and I still have 4 kindergartners in that pre-K kindergarten classroom. One objection would be, I don't want my kids to move. They should have one classroom. They shouldn't have 2. I've got a lot of feelings about that, but let me just share one real quick, and that's this. When you go to kindergarten, you have all kinds of transitions. You have your primary teacher, but you transition out of your classroom to lunch. You transition out of your classroom to specials, which might be music, the library, PE. You have all kinds of transitions. We're talking about introducing next year's kindergartners, our pre-kindergarten class, to 1 or maybe 2 transitions a day. And if you have, and we do, every year we have 3 or 4 kiddos that don't do well with transitions, and they're going to go to kindergarten next year, so they would be in our pre-kindergarten class. We go ahead and start them just in our school-age class, so it eliminates that extra transition for them. So there's ways to make that work. All right, in the afternoon, when my school-agers and kindergartners all come back from their elementary school, my pre-kindergartners can shift back down to preschool. How do I have room? Because some of my preschool kiddos have left. Maybe they only came for that 3-hour morning. They weren't around for lunch and nap, or they were picked up at 4 o'clock. And that's all micromanaging can be within a good classroom roster. Yes, this is what our classroom roster looks like. It looks like Tetris, and I've been playing Tetris for 16 years to micromanage our classrooms. But I can tell you, when you can take 75% realized tuition and turn that into 100 or 120% realized tuition, you might be talking about $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000 added revenue for your facility. If you're an owner, the incentive is obvious. If you're a director and you're not part of the profit sharing, if you will, think of what you can do to support your children and your staff with an extra $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000 a year. Man, we can do a lot of stuff with that. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If you like it, hit the like button, share it with another center owner or director, and make sure you follow along. Take a look at our treasure chest video. Make sure you have access to that and all of our documents, all of our spreadsheets, lots of tools are in there for you. And we're sharing that all for free because we want you to be successful as well in your childcare center. Thanks for watching. Have a marvelous day.